It's a good AGam in Kansas morning. Good morning. Let's take a look and see what's coming up today. First, on Horsing Around, Dr. Chris Blevins shares some tips about giving your horse injections. Then meet Scott Stebner, the photographer who is partnering with Kansas Farm Bureau to produce the Kansas Farmer book, and Orrin Holle, one of the Kansas farmers featured in the photo book. Then learn the connection between soil and climate and how the carbon cycle affects us all. We'll end with a report from the Tiffany Cattle Company and hear how they work with cow-calf producers to spur improvements at the ranch. Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hello and welcome to Horsing Around. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center, and today we're going to talk about vaccines when it comes to combination vaccines, safety of the vaccines, administering the vaccines, and what type of vaccines, when you go and buy them, to things to look for in those vaccines. I think that initially, one of the biggest things a lot of horse owners ask me about is combination vaccines. Are they as effective as individually giving those vaccines to your horse? Because we all know there's the 5-way, the 6-way, even like a 7-way vaccine, and how effective is that vaccine? Because maybe it's a little bit cheaper than buying those individually. In addition, we don't have to poke your horse as much with vaccines if they're already in a combination. And a lot of those combination vaccines are pretty good safety aspects or measures when giving it to your horse, and they do build up good immunity. However, there is some newer research that says or has altered towards having West Nile vaccine in its own separate type of vaccine when you're giving it to your horse. And so I think discuss with your veterinarian before you buy vaccines or administer them to them to figure out what's the best combination of vaccines to go with. Again, a lot of the combination vaccines are pretty effective in boosting a good immune system, but maybe having a separate West Nile and other aspects as you discuss with your veterinarian is something to think about when it comes to combination vaccines, and sometimes being a little bit cheaper may not be building up enough immune system for your horse. So think about those things as you're buying vaccines in the spring and figuring out what's the best case for your horse in those combinations of vaccines you can give. The other thing would be, as you buy vaccines, is to always look at the serial number and expiration of the vaccine. So look on the bottles, look on the packaging, making sure that you're not buying expired products. Anything that's expired, then it's the aspect of how effective some of those vaccines are could be in question. And so making sure you're not getting expired vaccines, or if you have vaccines already bought from last season, are they still effective? Look at the expiration, and knowing how and where to store vaccines is always very important. It should be refrigerated, kept cool, and the other thing is, when you buy vaccines, who are you buying them from? Are they keeping those vaccines in a controlled environment? Did they warm up and then they put them back in the cooler? And how effective are those vaccines after they warm up is always in question. So knowing your supplier or who you're buying the vaccines for and making sure those vaccines are stored properly so then they're effective for your horse is also very important. So you can get that based on the expiration and discussing with your veterinarian or your supplier how they're controlling or their control measures of keeping those vaccines safe and supplied correctly is also something to always remember. Also remember, whenever you're giving vaccines, it's always deep IM, so deep in the muscle when you give IM injections to your horse, 1.5 inch length needles when you give those. Sharp needles are also very important, and a fresh needle per horse is also very important. You do not want to reuse needles between horses because you can always transfer diseases from one horse to the other by trying to reuse needles when you're vaccinating your horse. So that's a quick little rendition of safety of vaccines and what to look for when you're buying vaccines, whether through your veterinarian that you can discuss with or through different suppliers of different vaccines that are out there. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center with Horsing Around, and we'll see you around.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com. Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Watch AGam in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com. AGam in Kansas brought to you in part by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
My name is Scott Stebner, and I'm the owner of Scott Stebner Photography at scottstebner.com. And this is a project I say is 33 years in the making. I grew up in Southern California. My mother was a horse trainer, and we really didn't get involved in livestock until I started my county 4-H club. And we had about 350 people in my town's 4-H club, and we all showed livestock. None of us came from farm backgrounds. And I was showing dairy cattle, and we had a really nice farming gentleman who would give us the dairy heifers and all the feed over the summer and throughout the winter, and we'd show them at our county fair, and then we'd give them back. And he gave us a great experience. The only problem was his farm was about 10 minutes from the ocean, and a developer came in, developed across his land, and then eventually had the EPA shut him down. And with that, he lost his family's livelihood that had been around for a century, and we all lost our 4-H projects. And it really gave me a passion since I was about 9 years old that we really need to educate people about what agriculture is, what it isn't. And that continued with me till I went to college and eventually became an ag teacher, where I helped found a ag program in the middle of Silicon Valley. And not a single one of our kids were from an agriculture background. And they gave us the name the Aggie Evangelists, because we take these kids from an urban background and we would turn them into ag majors and give them a passion for agriculture. And I eventually moved out here to Kansas to start my master's work in agricultural communications, and my wife and I were talking about what can we do to give something back. And we decided that we had a passion for advocacy, we love photography, and I really wanted to do what we could to raise money for scholarships. We decided to draw upon a bunch of research about how people perceive agriculture through images, and partnered with Kansas Farm Bureau to create a documentary on our wonderful Kansas farmers and ranchers. And all proceeds from this book will go to fund scholarships for agricultural communication students who are really interested in advocacy. And then the second part is we really hope this book will go ahead and advocate for our Kansas farmers and ranchers, to hopefully a demographic that usually doesn't experience agriculture. My background's in the urban sectors, and I always realized that they weren't stupid for having the beliefs that they did, they were just misinformed. And my big thing with this is to hopefully showcase our farmers and ranchers, the hard work they're doing, and their character that comes with being a farmer and rancher in a way that really puts a face and a story and some science behind what they do. And hopefully by doing that, we can actually inform the urban public outside of the current agricultural discussion. If you'd like to purchase a copy and support some great students in generating scholarship funds, you can go purchase the book at kfb.org/ksfarmerbook. So once again, kfb.org/ksfarmerbook.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome. Heinen Brothers, a fourth-generation Northeast Kansas farm family, knows how tough farming can be. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag, selling and servicing crop protection products, fertilizer, anhydrous ammonia, cover crops, quality aerial and ground application. Call today to learn about our extended term financing program. 800-760-4964. HeinenBrothersAg.com.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
My name is Orrin Holle. I'm from Rawlins County, Atwood, and I'm a fifth-generation Kansas farmer. We started in Kansas in 1892 and I've been proud to be back in Northwest Kansas and farming up there. I've been involved in Farm Bureau since the age of 18 in Young Farmers and Ranchers Conference here in Manhattan, and been involved at the county level, been a county president, been the wife and our state chair, and just had an awesome experience through Farm Bureau. And when I got a call from Megan Kramer about being involved in this Kansas Farmer Book, we really jumped at the chance. We wanted to be able to tell our story and get it out to people that might not know a farmer and know exactly what our families do on the farms in Kansas. Scott Stebner is just an amazing talent. When he came out to our farm, he did a quick glance around, saw a couple locations he wanted to use, and of course he wanted to get the timing right, get the sunset right. He wanted some clouds in the air, but what he could do with that camera to capture my children and my wife and myself in our surroundings, it was just an incredible experience. He's just a very truly passionate about photography and farming, and is just a wonderful person to deal with. You know, the involvement I've had in Farm Bureau has really opened my eyes up to just how much our organization means in this industry and in the nation. I am also currently serving on the Vote FBF board, and that involvement has really shown me how much our grassroots level, from our counties all the way up to our PAC board and then to the state and federal level, how much our organization means to candidates, and it also means to those people that are staffing those candidates, and they are really wanting us to be involved with their candidate, because it's a very big feather in their cap to have organization behind them. And then also it opens up our doors to those urban areas that we you know, the state of Kansas has basically 3 counties that can control the state, and we have to, as an organization, be able to open up our policies and our thoughts and processes to those urban areas and get those senators and representatives involved in our process and get ag policy done at an urban area. The highlight of the Young Farmers and Ranchers program that my wife Beth and I have been in for several years now is you come to a place and you're together with 400 plus young farmers and ranchers that are in the same positions you are. They have the same struggles with just getting started out, the same debt problems, the same struggles that all of us possess when we first start out in this industry. And it's just a good way to get to know people, to discuss your issues with other people, and also just to see, the social network is just amazing. Kansas Farm Bureau on anywhere from the county level to the district level to the state level and even the national level. It's been an incredible experience for my wife and I. We have friends all across the state and the nation, and it's been one of those organizations that allowed us to grow, to develop those leadership skills that we need, to be able to network with other people, and to be able to truly understand how important our industry is to produce food and fiber and to feed the nation and the world. And it's just been a wonderful experience for us. I'd really encourage anybody that is been thinking about joining Farm Bureau to go ahead and join, and they'll never regret their decision and never look back.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Daryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. And I'm not going to go out and dig trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities. And it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We are having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. A high-energy, drought-tolerant crop, sorghum only requires 6 inches of water to produce the first bushel. And with its wide uses and easy adaptation, sorghum proves to be a truly indispensable crop. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag, farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield.
There's lots of examples of past civilizations that were losing their soil through tillage practices, basically through agricultural practices that were gradually removing a little bit of soil every year. And because that pace is so slow, sometimes people don't notice it until it's too late. So these examples of past civilizations that did not quite take care of their soil resource adequately, several in the Middle East and several in northern Africa where warming climate played a role in this as well. The carbon cycle is hugely important to the Earth's climate. The main way that we've heard about recently is in the form of the greenhouse gas carbon dioxide. So this little molecule has an amazing ability through its molecular structure to retain solar radiation and emit it back to the atmosphere. Carbon is found in a lot of different places on Earth in various forms. So it's found in the oceans as carbonic acid, it's found in the atmosphere as carbon dioxide, it's in wood as cellulose, and it's in the soil in the form of soil organic matter. Soil is a very large portion of the carbon on Earth. So it contains more carbon than all the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and all the forests on Earth combined. Because there's so much carbon in the soil and it's in such stable forms, it's a great idea to keep as much carbon in the soil as possible. And at this point, there's lots of conservation tillage measurements and lots of activities that land managers can do to keep carbon in the soil. In general, retaining carbon involves both adding it through biomass measurements, so riparian buffers and cover crops, and any kind of time we can get plants growing in the soil and adding their carbon from the atmosphere to the soil, that will increase soil organic matter stocks. Additionally, people can avoid loss pathways such as erosion by being careful about tillage practices, tilling at the right time, using contour tillage, or other kind of agricultural practices that avoid erosion as much as possible.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, Sure Crop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. Sure Crop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose Sure Crop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
AGam in Kansas is brought to you in part by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
When Sean and Shane Tiffany started growing their commercial feed yard business, they knew relationships would be key.
We get to feed exceptionally good cattle. We worked hard on the initial phases of the business of going out and meeting with the cow-calf producers on an individual basis at their particular, operations and showing them that, all their hard work, all of their investment in good quality genetics and all those things, that they could realize a pretty good return for those investments and for their diligence in animal husbandry and things of that nature.
Retained ownership customers make up a large part of their business, and they enjoy feeding for rancher partners who are looking to make cattle better.
One of the rewarding things in my job is at the end I get to call them and we get to go over in great detail their carcass data on an individual basis. And ultimately, the question that's always asked is, well, where do we go from here? How do we make things better? And some of the guys over the years have had tremendous carcass data, but have lacked a little bit on the growth side of the genetics. And then there's the opposite. Some guys have had tremendous feedlot performance, but were left a little wanting on the carcass data.
But their customers prove what can happen with the right feedback and action.
We've got several guys that will push 100% choice, 10% prime, and be up in the 70 to 75% CAB range. They've just done an excellent job of picking bulls and doing the right things, and it pays off. It really does.
Always do the right thing is an underlying motto at Tiffany Cattle Company near Harrington, Kansas, and they're glad customers share it. I'm Jenna McCrell.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. To see this show and past episodes of AGam in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.